Hello and thank you for joining us on the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, Zamfara State Governor burst into tears, imposes dusk to dawn curfew as bandits abduct 73 students in fresh attack on Government Day Secondary School, Kaya, and later on the show, fear of insecurity, poor knowledge of electronic voting machines grip residents of Kaduna State ahead of local government elections on Saturday. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Paul Dada. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Abduction of students by bandits continues as the menace is sending jitters to other institutions harboring people. But the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, has assured parents and guardians of safety of the corps members posted for the service year. NYSC management says it has beefed up security at orientation camps in volatile states like Zamfara and Plateau states. Babajide, NYSC, because I've seen some parents during the last orientation, they posted somebody to Kebbi State, and the man was like, please, don't tell me about it. I said 3 weeks of orientation, that he should allow his daughter to just go for 3 weeks orientation and she'll be allowed to deploy back. The man just said, no, it won't happen, that she's grounded. So most parents, that instead of taking the risk at all, he said, how will she get to Kebbi from Lagos? I was not like,
There are many ways of getting to Kebbi from Lagos. The truth is, the NYSC management is not insensitive to concerns about security. And for this reason, you see the volatile states, what the NYSC has done about volatile states is to limit drastically the number of people posted to those areas.
yes.
So residents, students who are originally residents of those states, who are from the state, who grew up in the state, who went to school in the state, those ones get more posting to their states of origin.
Yes, that's what they do now.
Yes, they
like
post more of such people there. Then they do not, even when, you can imagine if you used to get 3,000 corps members as a state, I'm just using that as an illustration, and you get 200 because of the security situation. That's the sort of modus that the NYSC is using now. Then the volatile areas, places like outside of the state capital and the rest, they will not post, they will not deploy them there. So, and for the orientation camps are well secured by the armed forces, and the youth corps members know that they cannot go out, because you know that if you go out during the orientation exercise, anything could happen to you.
You don't even have business outside.
They will not even allow you to go out. Not in states like that we are talking about. People have also expressed concern about COVID, that COVID is ravaging NYSC camps. We have seen now, those were lies from the pit of hell, because if that was the case, we won't be talking the way we are talking now. It will have been such a national embarrassment. But NYSC ensures that if you are not free of COVID-19, you cannot mingle with other corps members. NCDC officials are on grant. Once you are tested, I challenged you the other day. I said, let us go to the NYSC camp in Lagos. Let's see whether we can get inside. As much as people know us, let's see if we can even get inside without a COVID-19 test. That's what is happening. And once you are tested and found to be positive, you are handed over to the NCDC officials on site, who will then move you to the isolation camp. That's how they've kept the NYSC camps free of COVID. Now, the security, yes, is a big issue. In fact, a governor will tell you, I don't want to mention the state, it became a big problem because they could not use their original orientation campsite. The governor had to provide another area that is secure for the very few corps members that were allowed to serve in the state. So people don't know these things. It's not like they used to send so many of, no, it's just a few. Why? Because we still need these core members. Look at a state like Lagos. In the health sector alone, we have no less than 600 doctors, medical doctors who are functioning as youth corps members who are medical functioning in Lagos. We need them for social services. We need them to help the needy, like the people in the IDP camps, you know. So that is why the NYSC is a desirable scheme. We cannot, because of security, simply scrap the NYSC, but we can take measures to ensure the safety of those children, and that is what the NYSC is doing.
No, that safety to some parents comes first, and that's like paramount. And when you're looking at deployment, now for states like Zamfara State and Plateau State, what I was told that what they do now is that just after your orientation camp, they tell you to go back to, you know, your state of origin. You don't have to stay for a year in those volatile areas.
Well, I might take a slightly different view from that of BKO. Left to me, I would want the scheme or the orientation to be suspended in states.
For how long? How long?
No, because, well, you know, the truth of the matter is, while I cannot
there's
deny the
security,
fact,
there's COVID.
While I can't deny the fact that NYSC is doing its best, but when you say that the post students who are, core members who are indigenous to a state or resident of a state to within that state, it somewhat defeats even the purpose of the scheme.
What I said is that they get greater prominence. Don't also forget that many people ask to be posted to their state. So, like the case in the past, when they will simply send them anywhere, the request to stay in your state of origin in volatile areas will be addressed before looking at other people who are from other places.
Okay,
and then the number of people posted to those places, very few these days.
That's fine, because even, you know, parents, a lot of parents, if NYSC was not a compulsory scheme, they will also not have wanted their children to go there.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there is no parents that will train a child in a university for 4 or 5 years only for them to lose that child because of attacks.
No, but they are not being lost. They just finished
exactly.
They just finished camping.
But the concerns are genuine, because we've seen bandits attack even security outfits. You understand, and without any reply, without any action or reaction, immediate reaction. So if bandits can go to an NDA and attack NDA, who can say that they cannot do same, even if they have not done it before? No, I'm not. So it's not.
Nobody is saying they can't do it. We are saying that. Look, even those NDA, when you talk about NDA being attacked, the question to ask yourself is, what did we do to protect the place? We talked about that when we discussed the thing. The place was lightly protected. When you do that, you are encouraging them to come forward. And then when they launched the attack, how long did it take us to send a team to try to help them?
Anyway, what I expect is that they should walk the talk, you know, beyond just giving the assurances. And again, when you are posting these corpers to their place of permanent assignment, some places can be avoided. Places that are volatile,
That's
more volatile in those states. Yes.
We already said that. I said that nobody will post you to
them.
Maradon, where they are killing people. Nobody will take you to all those Kuyambena forest area, for example. A lot of them will be in the state capital, or that is talking about Zamfara. Those we know that those places are generally safe. Yes, nobody will take you to those the hinterland. Nobody will take
it used to be before.
Yes, nobody will tell you to take you to places where they know it's not safe. You know, that's the point.
Okay, moving on now. Enugu State House of Assembly has passed the bill prohibiting open grazing and regulating cattle ranching in the states. Passing the bill this Thursday, the Speaker, Edward Ubosi, said it is not targeted at any individual or group, but for peace and security of residents of the states, that's Enugu states. We reported here yesterday that Ondo State House of Assembly, and the governor of Ondo State actually passed the bill into law. And yesterday we also got reaction from the Lagos State government. The Lagos State government is almost done and dusted. They are waiting for the State House of Assembly to actually ratify that particular bill.
Yes, after watching the program yesterday, my brother,
GSGF,
Tonji Bello, called to say, look, this is the steps that we have taken. So that bill is before the State House of Assembly. It's been there for a few weeks, and I'm sure that when they return, action will be expedited.
The ESCO, they passed it to the executive arm of government.
So just like we had with Ondo State, Lagos is in the bag. Lagos, the law will pass in Lagos, and we see what happens. It's just, and don't forget, states like even Osun, states like Ekiti, they've already, it's already done and dusted in those places.
Not forgetting that there are some people, the National Assembly is on recess. So there are some states that are affected in certain places that their lawmakers are also on recess. We should put that into consideration. So for investigating further yesterday, I now discovered that yes, many of these state governments, their bill is waiting for them, the House of Assembly, to be cleared. Well,
they said they will do it, and they are already doing it, and they will still do it. My own worry is just in the area of implementation, because the signals we got from the federal government is that they are not in support of it. And for the implementation of these laws, these laws are there, but for the implementation of the laws, you need police. And these states don't control the police. The authorities in the state will do as much as they can, to solve the problems of insecurity. This is one of the steps they are taking. But I want to implore people that are concerned that please, these laws are for the good of the people. States in the north are also waking up. They are banning suspending cattle markets, because they realize that some of these things are bringing, constituting security risk. They are adding to the worsening the security situation. So this is a laudable development, and we want to see more of this.
So, Babajide, ultimately, when apart from negative signal that we saw yesterday, we not discover that look, they might not just meet the deadline of September 1st, but most of these states they will legalize banning anti-open grazing law.
Yes, they will still get it done. Somebody sent me a message on Facebook yesterday saying that I was against this idea of having headers localized in the forest, forest reserve and all that. Forest reserve. That was not what we were. We were saying that, look, open grazing. Open grazing is just simply roam free. No boundaries.
Nomadic way.
Whether it is a farm. Look, like what we are seeing now is open grazing.
This open grazing.
This is not forest reserve, for example. Now we are saying open grazing allows the header to simply roam cattle inside people's farms. I saw video of some women in Osun State. They are ewedu, the vegetable that they planted. The cattle was eating the vegetable. They were helpless. They were saying, what is all this? All the years' work gone in just a few hours. That will make anybody's blood boil. And it has led to loss of lives in places like rivers, in places like Plateau, in places like Borno State. Benue State. So we are saying we are not against forest reserves. We have plenty of forests in our country. What are we doing with Sambisa? Kuyambena forest, we have bandits are killing people in Zamfara. What are we doing with them? Rugu forest in Kaduna, what are we doing with them? We are not against what we are saying, open grazing. Just simply grazing, going everywhere you like, and causing pain to people. That is what we are against. People listen to us and take just a fraction of what we have said, and they twist it and accuse you of no, you said this, bring experts if you don't understand these issues. Nobody was talking about forest reserve.
No,
we were talking about
to pick from their bias.
So and choose to believe what they want to believe.
Yes,
They think that they are entitled to their own facts. No,
Yes,
no
yes.
one is entitled to his own facts.
They made up their mind. So sometimes I don't.
I don't.
I don't
No, it
allow-
was even the person who accused me of trying to be sectional. I said, okay, Ganduje too, who is a Fulani man, who once was a cattle header. In fact, he said he didn't learn how to speak Hausa until he was 6 years. He was a cattle header. So he too is sectional.
Governor
Masari too is sectional. So you understand them? I don't. But let's go on with our work.
All right, now for the uptake time, armed bandits struck in Zamfara State on Wednesday, kidnapping 73 students of Government Day Secondary School, Kaya, in Maradun local government area of the state. Governor Bello Matawale, who burst into tears on receiving the information about the fresh mass abduction in his home local government, imposed a dusk to dawn curfew on the state in response. Let's share an update on the abduction with you.
To pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what we are encountering in Zamfara State and in northern Nigeria at large. We summon for special prayers for each and every Malams and every citizens to continue praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that we can come to an end of this situation. And we have ordered all the local government to continue this prayer till God has answered our prayer so that we can be able to defeat this fight of this banditry.
Nothing seemed to be working again. That Governor Bello Matawale, looking at even the tone of this story, for the often time, one, and number two, when you just hear something and even coming from your domain, 73.
From the governors, the governor's local government has come under consistent attacks by bandits.
So
His local government of Maradun.
is fed up.
Maradun has come under ceaseless attack. And this is a governor who started well, and people were praising him that he came up with methods that ensured that this killing stopped. This killing stopped for some time, but they are back fully at it.
No matter how,
No matter
how the strides, your giant stride in terms of development, infrastructure, everything, the lofty ideas you have coming to government, if the environment is not secured, there's no how, it will just erode and rubbish all your achievements.
I'm even saying that when he came in, security was his greatest achievement, because we knew that people were being killed in rampant fashion. Then he came in and we saw a stop. And everybody was winning awards for security. Now we are seeing these people, even his own local government, they are descending on his local government and killing people.
Now is the time.
He's a high chief from that locality, from Matawale. I mean, from Maradun. He's called Matawale Maradun. He's a high chief. He's their son. They must be proud of him that he's the governor. Now he can't defend the state. I mean, he can't defend his local government. You see how bad it is. A couple of years ago, we had a defense minister whose local government, Brini Magaji, was constantly being attacked. And I asked the question, how can we have a defense minister who cannot even defend his hometown? Brini Magaji in Zamfara was constantly being attacked. You can't even solve the problem. The current chief of army staff is from Zamfara. And Zamfara gets attacked all the time. The other day, the chief of army staff came and said that they were making progress in the war against banditry. Now, with some of what we are seeing, the attack on NDA, the kidnap of these children, even when we know that those of FGC, Brini Yauri, are yet to be released, this is happening. Do you call that progress? No, I mean, can we really call that progress? So the governor can shed tears, but tears will not solve this problem. It is the steps that you put in place that will solve this problem. And I've suggested work together with the federal government. There has to be a coordinated military campaign. Until we do that, we are wasting our time. We are wasting our time. Because these guys are probably even more determined than we are. We think they are joking. They are not joking.
Then you will need to see the videos
Bandits are not joking.
Around as the show of force
the
of these
weapons
bandits.
that they have, and our borders are porous. We can't stop those weapons from coming in. How can they be kidnapping students in this manner? We still have some with them.
And it's so bad that these students, some will spend 90 days, some will spend 2 months, 3 months. Nobody is concerned about their welfare, what was done to them. And do you think those as young as 4 or 5 years, do you think they will turn out in the society as normal students again?
The trauma that will remain with them. You know, now it's looking like school in those areas. School is no longer fun for children. You know what school should be for children now, but it's no longer fun going to school. You are going to school, your heart is in your mouth. Even you as a parent, you don't even know that you are not even comfortable sending your children to school. And you see, these bandits, they see school as easy targets. And you know how painful it is when children are kidnapped, when students are kidnapped. How? This year, in the first 8 months,
how do you drive joy?
In the first 8 months of this year, I read the report, in the first 8 months of this year, 821 students, at least have been kidnapped. This is about 2/3 of those who were kidnapped in 7 years. We had about 1,191 in previous years kidnapped, 7 years. But within this year alone, within 8 months, you've had 821 students being kidnapped.
It's not like their pastime.
I'm telling you.
Going
now,
after
when the chief of army, when military authorities say we are making progress, the truth is that you are taking 1 step forward and several backwards. Because to my mind, it looks like these people are becoming daring. They are becoming more daring. And mind you, it's a thriving business. It's a thriving business. Nobody gives up a thriving business easily, except that this one is a crime. Except that this one is setting the society back. So, like Jide said,
we've not got into the root.
We've not got into the root of the problem. We're talking about, look, we cannot, there must be something we should be doing that we are not doing. And if you keep doing the same thing the same way and expect a different result, you are just deceiving yourself. You are self-deluded. So they should go back to the drawing board and see how they can change the narrative for once and consistently.
All right, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. This is Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you from TVC News here in Lagos, Nigeria. And just before we went on break, we were talking about Zamfara State. I won't call Zamfara State. I don't want to call that state the epicenter of...
They have more bandits per square kilometer than any Nigerian state.
Man.
Even the governor of Kaduna said it. That's where most of them migrate from. They come, they have a more extensive forest there that Anka local government, for example. You know?
Now, what do you think these bandits are targeting schools? This is a region that is even disadvantaged educationally.
Yes.
Before now, that they're encouraging people to go to school.
Yes, it's all because when you kidnap students, you get the media attention. There's no doubt about it. All the people saying...
So they like publicity?
No, that publicity that would draw the attention of government. It's government that they want to see negotiate with them. Yes. You know, for years we were paying them, officially we were giving them money and lying that we are not giving them money. Now, everyone wants to get government involved. Once government is involved, they know there's a big payday. You know? So this is what is happening. Once you kidnap students, government will definitely want to get involved. That is what they want. And when you kidnap students, you get that publicity. They kidnap plenty of travelers. They hijack buses, take people away. How many times do you see that in the newspapers? How many times does it catch people's attention that travelers, are kidnapped? They do that all the time. But it is when they kidnap students, no matter how few, that everybody will be talking about it. So there is now the strategy for them to go after students. So that is the thing. And I don't know why. If we cannot keep the schools secure, then we should close the schools.
The strategy is just make sure the schools are not lock and key.
That is, when we said it at the time that it was wrong of Borno to allow the Chibok girls to write their school certificate exam in that school, given that Chibok is very close to Sambisa Forest. Some people felt that no, one was just criticizing blindly. But today, since that attack on the school in Chibok, Boko Haram has not succeeded in kidnapping any school child in Borno State because the schools are now relocated. Even in Monguno, the garrison town, we have plenty of soldiers. Boko Haram has tried to capture it a number of times, if not succeeded. The schools there, there's a unity school there. That school has been relocated to Maiduguri because Borno State didn't want to lose their opportunity of having a unity school. So the federal government girls college was moved to Maiduguri, the state capital. Now I've not had any story that the students were kidnapped in the state capital, Borno State. So that is the thing. We have suggested that move them to places that are secure. So these governors won't listen. Move students to places that are secure. If you can't find the right strategy to stop this in the hinterland, move them. But look at what we are saying. If those ones in Brini Yauri had been moved to the state capital to write their final exams, this would not have happened. Now they are still in custody.
From Ikorodu.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, Raji.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Raji.
DK and the other friend there.
I agree to Raji.
Please, I stayed in the north for a long time. But can DK tell me how many of these secondary schools are fenced in reality? First and foremost, that has made it open to bandits. So we include at any point in time. The school can be as big as anything, but once they are not fenced, that's one of the security problems we have there. Secondly, years back, we used to have this child soldiers that are posted to the secondary schools. But they are not there today. The problem that the issue of banditry has overwhelmed the northern governors. Even the federal government has become so helpless that they cannot get to. But my question is that, is there anything wrong if we seek for assistance from those who have this wherewithal to help us? If at all we're able to do that and they come to help us, then so are we going to tell people that no, it was here that helped us, it was here that helped us? No, all we are interested is how we get peace in this country. This country has gone to the worst situation we have ever had. With my little age,
thank you, Raji.
We have never had this so bad.
Thank you,
Having a wall is not the solution. What is a wall? You are dealing
I
with
Raji, I don't know, maybe you've seen these bandits.
Having a wall.
I've been watching
the Bethel school. That Bethel school.
Nigerians.
They had a wall. Bandits drilled a hole.
Whoa.
They drilled a hole into their wall and entered the place. Senator Ibn Allah's son that they killed. They climbed you.
So, do you think any war can stop this one? Look at
The truth of the matter is that these
It's
people
not
plan, they know when to go. They know how to move.
Look at machine guns.
I even think they even do they before they do is it reconnaissance or something before they come to they are not foolish people now. They know what they are doing.
Okay, what cannot stop these ones?
The solution is not
use sledgehammer. Just
you know when Nigeria, you know when our Chibok happened, we had some soldiers guiding that school. We had some soldiers, and the governor must have felt, we have protection. But you don't know how many people are coming to face those soldiers.
We're overwhelmed. The kind of people
Exactly.
You don't know how many are coming.
Action.
These guys will be on a bike, about 300 bikes, carrying 3 persons each, all of them with guns.
With 2 security agencies or 3 agents guarding a school.
That was what happened in Brini Yauri.
They will overwhelm them.
They overwhelmed those
Now,
security men.
In Zamfara State, government banned gold mining in a way of stopping banditry in Zamfara. Why are we still seeing banditry there?
The gold mining has not worked. I mean, banning of gold mining has not worked. They've done that. In fact, they've done that several times, not only once. So they banned this illegal mining. That is not. See,
That's not the reason for banditry.
Exactly. See, if you take a measure, and the measure is not working, it means that is not the solution to that problem.
Yeah.
Like he said, I so much like what he said about relocating those schools. You can relocate the children, you can relocate the schools to safer places within the state. That is even a strategy. That could be a strategy in.
That's what Kaduna State is doing.
Exactly.
All those giant schools is building, you know.
Because they tried more. They tried more in the hinterland.
Yes, because if they
if
they just leave Maiduguri and go to any of these volatile places.
You see a school that the governor has built, very mighty school, you know, so many classrooms that can take no less than 50 students at once. He's building such schools because everyone has
this matter of asking people to defend themselves. With what now?
I don't know.
With what? Somebody is coming with they are coming with sophisticated weapons.
GPMG.
Is it cutlass? I'm going to defend myself.
I think
we should even stop saying. They should stop saying that. In Niger State, vigilantes. If you know how many vigilantes bandits have killed in Niger State, they have damn guns, so not to talk about ordinary civilians who do not have anything. They've killed so many. So it's not easy to confront people who are so well armed. I said it at that time that stopping the gold mine, I mean the mines, will not work, because I know local governments in Zamfara that do not have an ounce of gold deposit. They don't have at all. Yet banditry is thriving in those places. So what is the attraction?
It's not about gold. It's about the ransom.
Yes.
It's about the money they will make.
They don't have gold at all, but banditry is thriving in those places. So how is it? At the time it happened, they will say, oh, let's ban it. So what has happened? Why is banditry still on the rise in those areas?
All right, and finally, on Saturday, the 4th of September, attention on Kaduna State will shift from insecurity to politics. But the two issues can be intertwined. As the Northwest states get set for local government elections, some residents are gripped with fear over insecurity and poor knowledge of electronic voting machines to be used for the council polls. The Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission had on Wednesday displayed the upgraded electronic voting machines, assuring the people that it will put an end to multiple voting. Let's hear from the chairman of the commission.
We, like you have said, Mother Ibrahim has said, we pioneered the electronic voting system during our last local government council's election. That was in 2018. Why that happened was because the governor of this state, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, being very progressive and courageous, decided when we came on board to task us with the responsibility of developing or rather deploying technology to our local government council's election. Initially, we thought all he meant was using the smart card reader because it had been such a success in the 2015 elections. But he said no. He wanted us to go the whole hog and have citizens actually vote on a machine. And so we set out to develop the voting machine, which we eventually presented to the public in 2018. This is my voter's card. I will now bring it here. You see, I didn't even have to touch the machine. You're supposed to highlight it.
Please press the OK button on the right bottom of the EVM to submit your vote.
Okay, this is the one I selected, so I'll press OK. Now on the left here, you see the receipt being generated, and you see the APM logo, and it has dropped into the ballot box.
If Kaduna can do it, how come the Federal Republic of Nigeria cannot do it? If you listen to her, the last local government election, it was deployed, and this is an upgraded version.
Is
electronic voting.
You know, Malam Nasir is someone who likes to
the trailblazer
to explore uncharted territories, places where people lack the courage to go to. He tries to go to such places. He tries to set the pace, and that's what we have seen with this electronic voting module that the Kaduna State has come up with. We want our people to be able to choose their leaders by themselves.
Honestly.
We want our people to be able to sack governments that fail to work for them. That's the way it is elsewhere. And you know, until we are able to have transparent elections, where it is only the choice of the people that emerge, we will not have good leadership. Because the leaders we have these days are leaders who do not feel that they are responsible to the people.
At all.
Because some of them will tell you, I will win the election in spite of you. Whatever you do, I will win the election. And if you think I've won through crooked means, go to court.
And even court will even determine the fate of how some will emerge.
You know the popular argument there was a popular argument in our political firmament that I came to this program and I combusted it. The argument or the notion that you can only rig where you are popular. Absolute rubbish. People can rig where they are not popular and get away with it. Yeah. And I gave the example of a lawmaker.
Subdue people.
A lawmaker that put a gun to a returning officer's neck and told him, give me a certificate of return. That's somebody who lost the election and the result was in the server. After they put a gun to his neck, he was forced at gunpoint to give the guy a certificate of return. Now, what the law says, for those who didn't listen to me on the day I came up with that analogy, what the law says is that a certificate of return duly delivered to a candidate can only be taken back by the courts. The returning officer felt that because they had the real result fed into their server, that look, he's wasting his time, he's a fool. We are going to
issue another one.
Yes, and withdraw that one. Yes. He discovered that it was only the court that could retrieve what he had released at gunpoint. Now, the courts, because the guy succeeded in buying the court refused to give an order withdrawing that. The court pronounced him winner. And you know those small, I'm talking about the House of Assembly election. At that point, you know, Supreme Court can't come in, you know, so it's not, you can't go all the way to the highest court in the land. Yes. So that was how someone who did not win an election. So did it need to be popular to rig? Is that not rigging that he successfully did? So you don't have to be popular to rig election in our country. And the only way we can succeed is to continue to introduce technology and erase, what's it called? Erase the frequency of human involvement. You get the point that I'm making? The frequency of human involvement in our elections. If we continue to reduce the human involvement, then we will get there. We will be able to have elections that each and every one of us will be proud of because the process is transparent.
All right. So we have Dr. Saratu Diko Audu, the chairman of the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission, joining us now. Thank you for staying with us, Doctor.
You're welcome.
This is the second time we'll be experiencing something like this in Kaduna State, and I want you to tell us about this machine.
Okay, about our electronic voting machine?
Yes.
Yes. How does it work?
Okay, good. The machine works, it's powered by a battery. The battery will last up to 16 hours in the field. So there is no fear that battery will run down on the field. But even if it does, we have deployed generators, and our supervisory presiding officers will be able to quickly get generator there to power it. Okay, how does the machine work? The machine works, it's a very simple machine. It responds to an authorization card that will give the voter access to the voting platform. But the platform will not open for actual voting until it sees and recognizes a permanent voter's card that belongs to the voter. When the machine sees the card and recognizes, it will then open the voting page for the voter. And we're electing chairmen and councillors. So the first page that will open will be the page for election of the chairman of the local government. Now, on that page will be displayed logos of all the political parties, of all the candidates that have registered to contest in this election. The voter is therefore next required to indicate the logo of the party that's putting up the candidate he wants to vote for by just touching the screen. When he does that, the logo will be enlarged just so that he can confirm that that is the party he actually wants to vote for. When that happens and he's satisfied that that's who he wants to vote for, he now presses a green button which says OK. That means that he's okaying that choice. As soon as he does that, on the left-hand side of the machine, there is a transparent window. Through the window, he will see a paper trail generated for the vote that he had just cast. That trail will carry the logo of the party of the candidate he just selected. He would see it. Within 3 seconds, the paper will be cut and dropped into the ballot box. Then the page automatically changes to the page for the councillorship election.
Now, how can we stop vote rigging through this electronic machine?
Okay, let me finish. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
So the page opens to the councillorship election. He goes through the same process. He selects a logo, it is enlarged, he okays it by pressing the OK button, and it's generated, a slip is generated that drops into the ballot box. Now, then the page closes, and he can't vote again, because if he tries to vote again, the machine will recognize his voter's card and tell him that he has already voted, so he should not vote a second time. Okay? So that will cut multiple voting. At the end of the election, the machine will print out a summary of results of what has happened on the machine. That summary of results has 2 portions to it, a chairmanship portion and councillorship portion. The chairmanship portion records all the votes for each political party, for everyone that has voted on that machine. And the councillorship portion does the same. Now, if at any point in time, maybe the agents feel, no, this is not the number of votes that were recorded on this machine, they can actually open up the ballot box, physically sort out the paper trails, and count them. Now, the result is printed in 10 copies. So members, party agents that are at the polling unit will have a copy each. That's party agents of parties that have candidates contesting in the election. The security agents at the polling unit will also have copies, and the result is transmitted to our server here in Kaduna. It is also transmitted to a USB port, it's stored on a USB port. So you have 4 levels, excuse me, of the results where the result is stored. The paper trail, the summary of results, the memory on the machine itself, the USB, and the transmission back to headquarters. So it will be hard for anyone to say they want to rig an election and change all those 4 values. And then remember that I said we print 10 copies of the results. So 10 people already have the results out there. How are you going to get all 10 and change them? It's going to be very difficult.
In terms of network coverage in Kaduna, what's the penetration like across the states?
Well, across the state. We have done a survey, okay, and we have deployed networks to areas where they are strong. The network providers have assured us that on election day they are going to boost network for us so that we shouldn't have problems of transmission. Okay, but like I said, the results are already registered in several platforms. So it will be hard for anyone to change results that way. If for any reason the result is not transmitted from the local or from the polling unit, you know that, you and I know that these things have a way of transmitting when network improves or when you get into network area. So we don't have any fears about that. We've tested them out across the states, and they work very well.
Now, is it something that you can recommend, having looked at this machine, having worked on it, is this upgraded version what you can recommend for our national electoral body? Seeing how...
Yes, absolutely. And I actually even have a further recommendation. You say we can further improve the machine by incorporating the smart card reader to the machine. The machine has a provision for fingerprint scanner. So what the smart card reader does for you, the machine can do, so it can be a one-stop shop machine, where the machine will read your fingerprint, read your voter's card, and allow you to vote. And then close voting once you have voted, so that you cannot vote a second time.
Oh.
Okay, madam, I must say that it's wonderful to have a machine like this. But I want to ask, how much of orientation have you done on the use of this machine? Because there are fears in Kaduna now. People are saying that because of illiteracy, they lack the knowledge of how to operate these machines. I would have expected that you should have demonstrated the use to them for them earlier, in some of those communities. So how do you want to respond to this?
We have actually taken this machine to every local government area in the state. And in 2018, we actually went to every ward with the same machine. People tried it out and they love it. We ran a survey after our 2018 election, and over 95% of those who actually voted in 2018 elections said they would recommend this for the entire nation. It's very well accepted. It's a very simple machine to operate, okay? You can operate your phones, and there's nothing difficult about this. The page opens, you select the logo of the candidate, of the party of the candidate you want to vote for, and press an OK button. Simple. The page opens on its own. You select a logo, press the OK button, and you are done. Within 3 seconds, you are done with your election. It's very simple. And I believe that even the old Nigerians are not as illiterate as they are made out to be. Even the old grandmother in the village has a phone. Most people have phones now. The smartphone or the mobile phone is even more difficult to operate than this machine.
All right, then finally, just as before we go, your final message to the residents of Kaduna, people that will be voting on Saturday.
My final message to residents of Kaduna is let peace reign. Let the will of the people prevail. Democracy is all about people choosing who they want to govern them, who they want to run the affairs of their community for them. So let peace reign. Let people choose who they want to. There is no need for violence. This machine will cut out multiple voting and rigging. So allow the will of the people to prevail. Please let there be no violence, no killings, no burnings. There's no need for anyone to lose their life or their property over an election. Let democracy prevail. Let people choose who they want to rule over the affairs of their community. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Dr. Saratu Diko Audi, the chairperson of the Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission. Thank you for joining us.
And we will be happy to speak with you at the end of the exercise.
Maybe on Sunday.
So that we can have your overview
updates
of how it all went. Thank you, ma.
I'd love to do that. Thank you.
Well, this is good. This looks good.
It's good. It's good. Human interference in the process must be reduced as much as possible.
I'm telling you.
That's why we are so much rigging, because we have not been able to leverage on technology to give our people elections that they can be proud of, that they can raise up, that we can even raise up on this continent. Yes,
we voted this person in.
For selfish reasons, politicians want to continue to rig elections.
And we don't want the court to choose our leaders for us.
Yes, if the elections are, you saw what happened in 2015, there were very few litigations.
Yes.
Because the elections were largely free and fair. The use of card reader was more than 50%. I think about 56% or so. This time around, the 2019 election, the use of the card reader came to 19%. So increasingly, we want to rig elections. That's to tell you how evil we are. We don't want the people to choose their leaders. I'm proud of a system that can produce something like this. And I know that we can even do better.
Governor of Kaduna State,
yes,
for insisting on something like this.
Dr. Barao was his teacher at basic studies level. Okay. He has a way of identifying
talents,
competent people, some of them very young, many of them women. So we give the governor credit for this. And just as she said, we should be able to recommend this for national use.
I agree with her absolutely. And this means that when we are determined to make things work, they will work. The other excuse they were giving, at National Assembly that some places that look at what she said. That they have discussed
that the networks promised that they can even boost.
Exactly. So
those ones were no excuses.
It's just lack of determination for whatever reasons that makes some of these things to look like we can't do them.
It's not everything we know that we say here.
No. Sometimes we just bottle up our lips.
But when we're outside the studio, we know how we.
If we say everything we know,
oh God,
there'll be problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
Remember that musician who said, "I'm an a problem." At a problem. We don't want that to happen.
That's a problem. And they still don't know what Reminisce meant before he sang that song. I don't know what he meant when that song.
You have to go and interview Reminisce. He explained fully in the course of the song.
Reminisce is a very good actor too.
I'm a problem.
And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11, and don't forget to join us Journalist Hangout on Sunday from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. This Sunday, 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. on DSTV 418, GoTV 45. We are also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Zubakun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.